Hi, welcome to Chat with Sonlight. Like Sonlight's curriculum offerings, we will explore homeschooling through the lens of a literature-based, Christ-centered education. Join us for everything you might be interested in for organizing your homeschool, connecting with others, and details on literature-based learning, and maybe a few sneak peeks. Hi, I'm Jonna Lawrence. I'm here with Sonlight, and I am here to introduce you to the Bilton family. You may have seen Christine post on Facebook and her lovely daughter that we love to follow. I just inviting them here today so we can just get to know them a little better over what we see on Facebook post. Christine, would you like to introduce your family?
I'm Christine Bilton. This is my husband, Matt Bilton.
Hello.
And this is our daughter, Elea Faith. She's 5.5 years old, and this is our third year with Sonlight.
Well, thank you. Welcome for joining me today. I was wondering, how did you find when you decided you would homeschool? How did you decide you would homeschool, and how did you find Sonlight?
We prayed a lot, and we prepped a lot.
Okay.
Researched and kind of scoured the internet. We looked through programs, requested all the material through the mail, snail mail, anything that we could find to do a side-by-side comparison of the homeschool curriculums that were available. But to be honest with you, and it was very much a joint decision between my husband and I, Sonlight was always our top three, and it easily became our number one after there were a few others in the top three that they were not what we were looking for, and Sonlight covered it. So it was almost a very natural, easy decision when we said, okay, let's decide. And we just really felt like God led us to Sonlight, and it was a very easy decision to make.
Even after Elea was born, we talked about that. We knew for a fact that we did not want Elea in public schools. Mm-hmm. That was just, we're right out of that, right up front, we knew that. So we've been praying a long time before we even started the process. And it's funny how Sonlight just really fell in our laps. We just knew it exactly. This is what was meant for us, what was meant for Elea.
Very fun. So you guys were you already, if I remember right from your Facebook post, you're retired military? Were both of you already retired, or were both of you in the military?
He's active duty. He was active duty military for 20 years.
Okay.
Retired, and he's working basically in the same facet at Barksdale on base.
Okay.
Very much the same position in the B-52 community, and I'll let him explain.
Pretty much, yes, we have to say only one of us was military, but we both served because Christine went through all the hardships and all the deployments and DUIs right there with. We both technically served, I would say. I retired in 2015, became a government civilian in the same year, been doing that for 7 years now. Elea was right after the year after I retired.
And we were married in 2004, so half of his military career, it was he and I with active, deployments and TDYs, and for all of those that are not military, deployments, he would do it from upwards of 4 months to 6 months at different locations.
Right. So what exactly, just for those who don't know, I know, what is a TDY?
Just a temporary deployed duty. It could be anywhere from 3 days to a week to 2 weeks.
Okay. I think I was telling you, my father was military. I grew up military on the bases. My husband actually was former Army before we met as well. So I get all the lingo, the jargon, but not everybody gets.
I'm happy when we have Sonlighters comment on posts saying, I'm sorry, but what is a TDY? And I always get joy trying to explain to them. And I forget sometimes that there's more in our Sonlight community than military. And so it's to explain that. But we joke that my husband TDY is now more retired than he ever did active duty.
I was going to say, you were talking about lingo. We talk about in Sonlight, a lot of us that are in it, we talk, well, we got our IG, we've got this, it's a 4-day, it's a 5-day. And there's a lot of people who don't know Sonlight that are like, what's an IG? What do you mean an HBL? And, an IG means an instructor guide, and HB is our History Bible Lit program. So it's the same. There's always lingo wherever we're at.
We just transitioned from military lingo to Sonlight lingo.
Yeah. All right. I have another question for you. All right. So which ASP are you using?
We're using first grade. So we usually do school Monday through Thursday, with Friday being a down day or an art day or a craft day.
Okay. So Elea, what's your favorite subject?
She likes reading her Bible and doing her verses.
Oh, very good. So I saw a post your mama posted about you singing your verse in a time that was scary for you and your mom. And that made me feel really proud that you knew your verses.
Well, a couple of days ago, it's funny. She said, Mama, she was singing her Ephesians verse. And then she asked me, do you remember some of my other Bible memory songs? And I go, well, we have a lot of them. So today, just to review, I went through our blue Sonlight curriculum book, and and so I started reviewing all her Bible memory verses, and was proud to say she knew about maybe 7 to 10 full verse songs on her own, starting from week 6. So to know that she's retaining that verse, Bible verses musically, and she sings them all the time. And yes, in that particular instance, she was having a medical procedure, and we were both a little trying to just calm down. And so I was trying to get her distracted. She was fine, but I said, why don't we sing one of your Bible verse songs? And so we had the doctor there and then the helper, and they were listening to her sing. And that was a really sweet moment. So.
That was very sweet. And I would say, and you talk about A. So A was what my kids started with way back in the day. And I could still have my 27-year-old. We used construction paper, and wrote their verses and hung it on the wall. And I still have them all. And here it is 22 years later, 23, I guess it's going on 24 years. He still will A, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. He knows all those verses, and I'm like, okay, it works. Just stay the course. So yeah.
Number 2, because those songs are so catchy. My husband and I will be singing them during the day. And then Elea catches on and she starts singing with us. So it's kind of become this family singing thing. Yeah.
I was going to say, that was one of the things. We did not have the songs yet when we started, because I started that in 1999. So let me ask you a question, Christine. So a lot of moms, I have heard in my time, I only have one child. I don't think it would be good for me to homeschool. Tell me some of the benefits you think it is having just one child over having multiple children.
Well, first of all, I've always admired the homeschool parents that are teaching multiples. I think that's pretty amazing, because obviously we're a very different family. But we like to embrace those differences. Obviously, we're retired military. We live away from both families. We don't have any close family close by. So our holidays consist of us 3. And it's become, honestly, a beautiful tradition. So when we went into homeschooling, knowing that, my husband and I are both public school educated, and I have my master's in counseling. So we were very pro public school, but knew if and when we had a child that we would want her homeschooled because of a lot of the things that we grew up with. And we have a lot of public school educators in our family that we admire. So this is not a which is better than the other, but for pros, I would just weigh it out against what my experience was. We're able to have a closeness, our girl and myself, and then my husband is the history A teacher with our girl. So we have one-on-one time with Elea, and that's really important. And I just feel like we're able to really hone in on just focus on her strengths, step back on any weaknesses she might have. We don't have conflicting personalities with other children or different ages, but I speak from us really only having one child. And so far it's been amazing, and it's been an amazing calling. We knew we wanted to do it, and we just really feel like God has led us to continue to be joyful about it and do it all.
Well, I think you speak better to homeschooling just one because you have not experienced the multiples. You truly can see the benefit of one. I think like last year, last 4 years, I only homeschooled one child, but I constantly had other children to think of how they did. So, I mean, there was always that comparison thing going on in a mom's head where you don't have that. Elea, you got a great benefit in that. There's only you. So do you think you'll move? You're so used to moving. Do you get the urge to want to move again?
We travel a lot. We've traveled before Elea extensively throughout Europe because we had the ability. We didn't have a little one yet at that point. And so that was kind of always our outlet. But really, Louisiana is home, and we think
we're hoping not to.
Right. We are actually, we wanted to put roots down, and we feel like we have. And then we're just going to see where Elea might end up.
Right.
As far as God's calling us, we would like to do homeschool as you know, as long as we can, and as long as she enjoys it and is benefiting from, you know, one-on-one. But she's very active. She's very, I would say she's probably the exact opposite personality of my husband and I. She is like a go-getter, a little social butterfly, and we are kind of like the flies on the wall. And so she has a very interesting sense of humor because she's the girl we knew we needed. And she brings us out of our shell. And so for her, but we're thinking we're going to be staying put for a little bit.
So do you, go ahead, Matt.
God willing.
God willing. Yes.
Well, God willing. My husband was very happy to stay where we lived in southern Indiana, Kentucky area until my mom prayed him into Alabama. So
that's a good way to say that. Well, we have family in Texas, my family, and then Matt's family is Kansas, Missouri.
Okay.
So in the middle, which is kind of perfect because we're able to visit, and it's very doable for Elea. She's a good traveler. She's been on an airplane once, and so we're hoping to get her on it more for more extended journeys. But yeah, it's been a good place to call home, and it's been a big, very strong military community for us. So.
Well, that's good. That's good. And I find that people who have served in the military, they, you know, I don't know, they kind of flock to the other military families because there's just that bond. You understand the sacrifices that come along with that. And I appreciate what you've done for our country, even if it's just flying B-52s, you know.
Elea will still stop and look at the skies and say, that's Daddy's plane. So his mom and dad are going to come visit. Matt, my husband's mom and dad are going to come visit, and they will jump out the front door and look up at the sky every time the B-52 passes over. So it's something that I'm very proud of for Matt and our family. It's been an honor to serve.
So Elea, do you have can you tell me one of your verse you're studying this last week?
She asked, could it be whichever verse she would like?
Whatever verse she wants to tell us. What's your favorite verse?
I will love God. So you take your stand at the Philistines. So wonderful. I will love God. And be the feet of 6-11.
Wow. Very good. Very good. I love seeing all your posts, Christine, on Facebook. I think it's great you build community for us. And I love having you post, you know, daily or weekly, whenever you get out there. I know you've got some procedures ahead of you. Just know that Sonlight staff let us know when we need to be praying. If you guys don't know that the staff prays every day over any prayer requests that come in, and they're very diligent to be praying for the Sonlight families.
That's something that honestly, when I say stumbled, but really God led us to, we found the Sonlight community via Facebook and even the app. We knew immediately we had discovered an amazing community. I've been in other Facebook groups, even military spouse groups, not to disparage them, but it's a different level of connection when you are kind of in the thick of it with your children, you know, and you're trying to teach them and buy for them and teach them all about the goodness of God.
Right.
You know? So it's a next level parenting in addition to teaching your children at home and trying to rear them the best that we can, and then experiencing whatever differences each family may with the military or whichever, you know, walk God has called families to. But when we got connected with the Sonlight Facebook group, it became a family to us. And it's a joy to read questions and struggles and, things about the curriculum. And I always find that the participants in our community are always very quick to help and very quick to give advice and very quick to encourage. And that has just been very encouraging to our family.
Well, I agree with you. And that's part of why I stayed with Sonlight for so many years. We used to have forums, love having chat rooms or groups these days, and especially enjoy the app because I feel like it's only Sonlight. I don't have to worry about anybody else coming in. It's only Sonlighters that are there. So I appreciate you guys taking some time and chatting with me today.
Thank you so much for having us. We love Sonlight, and thank you for trying to get to know the Bilton family.
Thank you for joining us today. Do you have an idea for a podcast topic, or do you want to chat with Sonlight on an upcoming episode? Email us at connections@sonlight.com.